7 o'clock somewhere. Oh, my little hammer, so I want to call the order of the Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for September 3rd, 7 p.m. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Fire evacuation, if there's an emergency in the building, we go out the door and take a right down the stairs. Go
Straight up.
Straight out.
Straight out, good, okay.
Hopefully.
That's where I know
Locked. It opens out.
Okay, good. Roll call, please. Oh, yeah, go ahead, then I'll.
Okay. Donna Corbin Zabinski.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley. Here. Kelly Hemler.
Here.
Dylan Bridge.
Here.
Ian Collins. Absent. Ken Kaufman.
Here.
Chris Renaud.
Here.
Robert Gillespie.
Here.
Okay, thinking I want to see Chris Renaud. And I'd also like to welcome Robert Gillespie to our team. He was appointed as an alternate on July 15th, so it's been a little while since we had a meeting.
Okay.
You're welcome. Now, so next on the agenda is actually public communication. At the bottom, we have elections of officers and review of bylaws. So that is normally done after roll call, according to our bylaws. So we could have 3 options. We can get a motion to move it up to now. We could get a motion to keep it where it is and override the bylaws, or we could table it to next meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to move miscellaneous 15A and B to now.
Second.
Sounds good. So it's Kelly and Chris.
Dylan.
Dylan, sorry. Don't learn your voices.
Donna Corbin Zabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Bridge.
Yes.
Chris.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renaud.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. So next would be the elections of officers.
Which one do you start with?
Well, Chair.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so according to our bylaws, this is an organizational meeting that we hold in September. And we do the elections every 2 years, and we review our bylaws on the even number of years we have the elections, which is now 2024. Nominations of candidates shall be made from the floor. An election of officers specified in Section 1 of Article 5 follows immediately after roll call. Alternates may not nominate, may not be nominated, or vote on officers. The candidate receiving the majority of the vote of those present and voting shall be declared elected and shall serve for 2 years or until his or her successor takes office. Or whenever a vacancy occurs, officers shall be filled by election procedures as known as above. All terms of office shall terminate at the next organizational meeting in 2 years. Resignation of officers shall be consistent with procedures for resignations from the agency noted in Article 4. So, current chair, which is me, called the meeting to order. After roll call, I will open the floor up for nominations. I will recognize the member making the nomination. Please state your name for the record and your nomination. Then we'll ask the nominee if they consent to the nomination. And of course, they'll say yes or no. And then if there's any further nominations, then we'll continue on with. So
I would like to make a nomination for Chair Donna Corbin Zabinski. I think you do a fantastic job, Donna, and I hope that you accept the next 2 years.
I second it.
Oh, you beat me.
Oh. It's usually-
I do have a question on that though.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close the nominations. All in favor for the nominations? Okay. And I will accept the nomination. And there is no further nominations for this position? Then, since there's only one, then, yeah, I cast my vote and the nominations are closed. Next will be vice chair.
I'd like to make a nomination for Kevin Zorda. Again, you also do a fantastic job, and I think you guys are a great team, so I hope you accept.
Second.
Thank you.
I accept the nomination, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other nominations? I hope say the nominations are closed.
Close.
Yes, move to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Kevin? All in favor, motion passes. We have for secretary.
I would like to make a nomination for Virginia Higley. You also do a fantastic job, and we all appreciate you, your team, and hope that you will accept.
I accept.
Second. You can't.
I say the nominations are closed. Any other nominations? No, none. Seeing none, all in favor?
Does she accept?
Do you accept?
I accept.
All in favor? Motion passes. So we will maintain our positions for another year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for your confidence in us. So we'll move on. Next will be public communications. Nobody here, correct? So we will move on. Anybody have anything else? No? Correspondence. So we received our list of applications of outstanding open applications. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
It's very helpful. We also received our new inland wetlands contact information, which is also great, having it updated. And that's it for correspondence. Next is the minutes of preceding meeting from July 2nd. Anybody have any?
I move to accept the minutes of July 2nd.
Second.
Who's who did that? So we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none? I think I have any. No. Roll call?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorba.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Briggs.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Bernal.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Next is the town attorney reports. We have two, one from August 26th, and the other dated July 22nd, and it's just a brief update on our litigations. We have no continued public hearings, no new hearings, no old business, so we have new business. Yay. So, first is Stephen Hinley?
Hi.
Hi, okay.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Want to give us a little short overview?
So my name is Stephen Heine. I am a recent graduate from SUNY Albany. I graduated with my master's degree in urban and regional planning. I've now been working here at the town of Enfield for the last 2 months. George has been doing an awesome job training me in all the rules and regulations that we have. While I was mostly focusing in transportation in my studies, I still have a broad understanding of a lot of different concepts, and I've been, running as I'm learning. So I'm looking forward, and I'm excited to work with everybody.
Thank you.
And he is now certified by DEEP to be your new wetlands agent, should you
Thank
have him tonight.
Okay.
Sounds good. So
Probably should have mentioned
You've been busy.
that.
you just have to make a motion.
The new
We have to make a motion.
Yeah,
All right, I will make a motion that we accept Stephen as our duly authorized wetland agent.
Second. Oh, you
sorry.
got it.
No, you got it.
You said it.
Kelly.
Kelly second that? Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Briggs.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Sure.
Chris Bernal.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
But Georgie's not going anywhere.
I'll still be in the background. So you have Rick, me, and Stephen now as your wetlands agents, should you need any of us.
Yeah.
But I'll be around until probably November-ish, until Stephen gets comfortable and learns ropes and everything, and then you'll see me at PCC.
Okay.
So I'll still be
On TV.
I'm not going anywhere, so.
Well, hopefully Stephen won't either.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not a stepping stone.
No.
Yes, it is.
Goes
Happens
for,
to us all the
that goes
time.
for all of you too.
Okay, next is IW 707 Carriage House, wetlands application to replace the stormwater culvert. Chris Whelan, applicant owner, map 52, lot 420, R44 zone. And this was automatically approved because we had no meetings received, because we had no meetings, so. yeah, automatically received.
I'll take the automatic approval. I
Yeah, that's right.
don't- Good evening. I'm Tim Coon with J.R. Russo and Associates here tonight representing Carriage House Condos. Chris is going to be able to he apologizes, but if for whatever reason there's questions that I can't answer, then we can just continue it until a time when he's available. I'm hoping that we can get through this. It's pretty straightforward. The Carriage House Condos is located northwest of the intersection of Steel Road and Mullen Road here in Enfield. There is an intermittent stream that currently crosses the access road just north of units 33 and 33 on one side, 53 on the other. The wetland associated with this intermittent stream was flagged by Rick Zulik back in February. That is all shown on the plan that I'm hoping you have in front of you. And you'll notice that the crossing is facilitated by a series of 36-inch corrugated metal culverts that go through two catch basins at the edge of the street. And these culverts are rusting, deteriorating. I don't know if anybody's been out there to look at them, but they're not long for this world. And before the road collapses or we have any other issues, we'd like to replace them. So what is being proposed is replace the corrugated metal pipes with new corrugated plastic pipes of the same size, put everything in at the same slope. We would also be replacing the catch basin structures along with that. But because we're doing everything same size, same slope, there should be no impact to the flow characteristics of the stream. We will also be adding, there is some riprap at the end of these pipes. It's difficult to say how much, so we figured it probably is a good idea to supplement that riprap to fill in if there's any bare spots or stuff like that. So that is part of it, and that's really what's associated with the wetland disturbance because everything else is pretty much outside of the wetland, other than just placing the riprap at the end of the pipes for erosion protection. And there's about 400 square feet of disturbance associated with that. That is what we are asking. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Is there gonna be anything to stabilize, the soil between the road and where the riprap has? I know they're talking about seeding, but I'm concerned that maybe some, the netted straw or something should be put in place to stabilize that, given all of the flooding and rain we've had this year.
Well, we were not proposing, we feel that just seeding or topsoil and seeding is sufficient. These are up against the road, the shoulders are fairly flat.
Okay.
And that road is curved, so really the only runoff that is
Just
gonna
that
go
small
over it is
space.
whatever falls on it.
All right, so.
So none of the road runoff is gonna be running down the slope over these areas.
Okay, all right, then that's fair enough, yeah.
Jenny?
I just want to say I was happy to see that you're putting more riprap down.
Yeah.
That area is in a wall and it'll be very helpful.
They recently did this back a little bit ago on prior application.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did the
the other
clearing,
end of it or something.
Yeah.
the clearing by the street to
Yeah.
make more storage for flooding.
Right, so sounds good.
This end is the one where the house's basement's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They had mentioned that the unit 53 unit was struggling with flooding because of the culvert.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a good water passageway for the association.
makes sense.
Yeah, by opening up that and making sure that the water can pass through there, there'll be less of a restriction, if you will, on that upstream end, so hopefully the water can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This should be ready again this year. Yeah, sounds good. Anybody have any more questions, discussion?
we don't have to vote, right?
Yeah, yeah, we do have
Wait,
to.
we still have to vote?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a regular real application.
Oh,
Before we make a motion, I just wanted to mention that we crossed out some of the conditions that you usually see.
Oh, right.
An ENS bond is not really needed for this type of project.
Yeah.
Condition 6 was crossed out because, they're not doing a planting plan, and that's it.
3 was too.
And I had no site specifics, we're gonna monitor the project as it goes.
All right, good. I will make a motion to approve IW number 707, Carriage House. Application for a wetlands permit to repair and replace a culvert for an intermittent stream crossing, Carriage House, Enfield Association. Applicant owner, map 52, lot 420, R44 zone.
Second.
Were you gonna say something else?
Nope.
You're done. Ms. Kevin and Chris, any discussion? Yep, seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin Sibinski.
Yes.
Kevin Jordan.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Bridge.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Bernal.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You got good weather to start.
Yeah, definitely. Nice one.
Good night.
Have a good night. Next is enforcement reports. Do we have-
So I don't really have enforcement reports, but I have a summer full of enforcement updates. I was saving it for report of planning stuff, but I figured it kind of falls under both categories. Okay, so first and foremost, we dealt with the North Maple property that we granted a DPN last year to do timber harvesting to make way for new cropland. We received a complaint from the Shaker Lake president over the summer about how they were doing tree clearing and sediment was running off into the lake. So we went out there, did an investigation, got ownership permission to travel onto the property, discovered that they did not have a certified forester as required by statutes. So the Department of Forestry has been out there pretty much every week, keeping an eye on the forestry activities. And then we went out to check the complaint about the sediment running into the lake. I was sent a video that did not have a timestamp on it, so I couldn't really use it to enforce, but upon inspection, there was no issues with any of the sediment runoff. There was actually no sediment actively going into the lake. They have mulch berms up now after I had called him and asked him to put ENS controls up. Then the complaint went over to the Win Stanley property, how their activity is contributing to sediments in the lake. So thus gaining ownership permission, went over to Win Stanley, and there is no activity on site right now. They are not in active construction, and they are not near the lake where such complaint would be valid. And then I went over to East Longmeadow because of that recycling facility that was approved last year right off the Jawbuck Reservoir, because maybe the sediment was coming from there since it flows north-south. So the conservation officer in East Longmeadow went out to the recycling facility, did an inspection, and found the site to be in total compliance, ENS controls and everything. So there was not really a backup to support the complaint that came in, so I dismissed the case. Keeping an eye on it though. The second one we got was, of course, 92 Post Office Road. They had started construction without properly notifying us and scheduling a pre-construction meeting. So, and we also didn't have bonds in place. So we contacted him, he got ENS controls up, and he also put additional ENS stuff of hay wattle. So you see that on the site now. And we had our pre-con meeting, he submitted his bond, so he's back in compliance and good to go. We will check for proper foundation locations upon the foundation as-built that will be submitted, just because we can't check it right now, we don't measure it because we don't have that capability right now. So when the as-built comes in, we're gonna check it for compliance and then go out to site and measure. 100 Post Office Road is also under construction. Same thing with ENS controls, which were installed, and they're a little bit, they kind of look like they're failing, so we're just keeping a close eye on them because they're not as tight as we'd like them to be, but the owner is aware, so we're gonna keep an eye on it as summer goes by, fall, now we're in fall. And let's see what else is there. Dollar General has completed their construction progress, so they are waiting for their landscaping to stabilize, and then they were asked for bond releases. All American Assisted Living still has their slip fencing up because their drainage permit was denied by OSTA. So now they have to go back and seek that drainage permit to be able to finish their drainage connection into the roadway. So that slip fencing will remain in place until that work has been done. 14 West Shore Drive, we granted a permit for a couple months ago to demo the existing house and build a brand new house. They had contacted us for an ENS inspection and a pre-con, so they will be starting demo probably next week or so. And that's all the reports I have.
Thank you.
Is there any update on that First Street guy, the guy with the accent? I know I missed a meeting, but like.
Oh,
The guy that was
yes,
like
so-
redirecting the river.
quick little background for our new commissioners.
Yeah.
A couple, maybe half a year ago, time flies real fast, WPC contacted us about an owner dumping and filling into a water course in the back of his house.
meeting.
Yeah, 86 First Avenue.
Possibly even moved to.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it completely rerouted the brook. So DEEP did an investigation and they did confirm that activity had been conducted at that site. So they cited him a violation. He has not responded back to DEEP about the violation, so their next step is citations and fines. Until then, we're kind of on a back burner just because DEEP trumps us. And they have more power in getting things fixed than we would from a local level. But we're trying to keep good communication with DEEP. But sometimes that can be a little bit hard just because they're so busy. But on the bright side, the wetlands department did hire 2 more wetlands analysts. So hopefully we'll have more, more responses and more questions hopefully. But we'll see what happens.
Has he done any additional?
He hasn't done anything, as far as I know. He could have done stuff today, but I wouldn't know. So keep an eye on things. And then we did issue a cease and desist order to Yankee Casting since we can't really attack it from a wetland standpoint. So we're going to try zoning and go after him for zoning violation. So hopefully that will start that process back up.
Did they respond to that?
No, and I emailed them ever since the president came in that first meeting. I had been following up with him almost every month, and then a couple months went by, sent a follow-up email, didn't hear anything. I sent him another email at the beginning of the summer, just like, hey, we're still waiting on your application for the sand pile. Stephen and I did a drive out last week just to take a look, and it does look like the sand pile has gotten bigger, but I can't confirm that, of course, just from what I can see from the roadway. And the sediment pond is getting worse every day, so we did the cease and desist order, and we're hoping that that will kickstart things back into compliance.
Did we do it in the wetlands?
No, we couldn't do it from wetlands. That's where I'm at. And Stephen will be taking over most of these cases, so.
Oh, no, I'm too lucky.
So I have one from 348 Hazard Avenue. It was where they were.
The truck and the
The
stuff in the
trucks,
back.
they're supposed to have finished it by April 30th, so I was just.
Sorry, I wanted to
I
say something
believe
about
he
that.
did finish it, but let me confirm with Rick.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure, I remember him coming in and speaking with Rick about how he moved all the equipment.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna double check.
Because if he did and everything's done, we could close it out next meeting or something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Rick tomorrow and just get a
Yeah.
verification on that, if it's
Yeah.
closed out or not by him.
Yeah, I was going through my stuff and I said, oh, it's past April. Thank you. Planning and staff
Yours
report?
was like yesterday, dude. Like it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Just if you wanna go to Khaki Wick, let us know.
Oh, yeah.
Khaki Wick's happening very soon, and I didn't hear from any of you over the summer, so I don't think anybody wants to go, but if you do wanna go, let us know. It'll be a Saturday at I think it's at the Bristol Convention Center again.
I think I emailed
Yeah,
you, because I am
November.
interested in
Yeah.
that one.
You, Kevin and Kelly, that's it?
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Okay,
What is
Kevin,
it?
Kelly, and Donna.
I'll go.
And Jenny?
Yep.
He goes like, wait a second.
It's a good,
It's a really good
for new
meeting.
folks, it is a good meeting, there's some good sessions.
My all-time
Decent
favorite.
food.
It is the
It's all
Connecticut,
day.
it's the Connecticut
Very
Association
informative.
of Inland Wetland Conservation Scientists. So it's like a day where all wetlands commissioners or sometimes soil scientists, sometimes environmental professionals will come out and they'll offer some classes, they'll talk about their research. It's like a good lunch and learn type of day.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in spending a Saturday down there and you just want to network with some other towns and learn
When
some
is
more
it?
skills. It is November 7th, I think.
Yeah.
Check.
There's a law update, so.
Yeah, they have some lawyers that
They
are
do
talking.
that every year.
Okay.
There are vendors as well, so you can walk around.
It'll be Saturday, October 29th,
Oh, October.
October.
from 8:30 to 3.
October 29th, I thought that was a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a Tuesday.
You just said Saturday.
Yes, it can be, it's a Saturday.
September
29th
29th.
is a Tuesday.
Hang on a second, hold. Why does it say that? Hang on a second.
How about November 29th?
There you go, November,
That's a
join us for
Friday.
the conference,
Oh, no, that's
Saturday,
Friday.
November 16th.
November 16th.
November
November
16th, 15th
Friday?
anniversary.
11/16.
16.
Saturday, the 16th.
Yes,
Yeah.
November 16th, I was looking at the wrong page.
That works.
And they're gonna have Marshall Berger as a guest speaker, who has been one of our most prominent land use judges for a long time until he recently retired. He was a presiding judge over a lot of our wetlands cases, so
Yeah.
it'll be nice to see him again.
Yeah.
And then Mary Mashinsky will be there. She's the Connecticut State Representative and Deputy Speaker. And then Dr. Jason White, who is an agricultural experiment doctor person. But yeah, you just learn awesome things from these awesome people. And if you're interested, just let me know and we'll sign you up.
Where's it at?
Bristol Convention Center.
Can you send us all the links so we can look at it?
Sure, absolutely.
And is this something that we pay for or the town?
We pay for it.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to check.
So, who said they wanted to go?
Kevin, Donna, Ginny, Kelly, and Chris.
I'll go.
And Ken.
My grandparents are coming up 1 week in November, so I'd have to check, but
Yeah,
You just let me know.
just let them know she can register. Yeah, and you get to pick and choose what sessions you want to go to.
Yeah, that's,
Actually, really
well, when a bunch of us go, it works out well, because one goes to one session, one goes to another session, and then everybody gets together and talks about it.
It's nice, it's nice. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Steven should go too. If he can. Next is applications to be received. IW 708, 167 Shaker Road. Wetlands application for pond dredging, removal of existing structure and construction of a deck. Terrence and Regina Pelosi. Pelosi. Applicant owner, map 81, lot 102, R44 zone. Next is, that's it. But I have a question for Georgie. I had on miscellaneous, but. So when we get the application to receive, like we did for 707 Carriage House, does it show up anywhere?
What do you mean?
That it's been a
707 or 708?
707 Carriage House,
Okay.
where it got auto received? Does it show up anywhere for people to see that?
I think we put it on the website. I think it's on the website, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I don't do the website anymore, so I'm not entirely sure.
Because I couldn't find it, because I was thinking is, so what happens for new members, we receive an application like number 708 just now, and then 14 days later, we could act upon it. It gives the public 14 days to do a petition to say they want a public hearing or something. So I was thinking, well, like the Carriage House, if somebody wanted to petition it, how would they know that it got auto received? There's no way to know.
And there's no signage when it's just received.
No, there's no signage.
The only way to know would be if the public were to ask. But, I mean, we don't require signage or anything, but the next time this happens, we can make sure it's on the website or
Yeah,
something.
I think that'd be good. Just-
Yeah.
I mean, it was a small application, so I figured it would be.
Yeah.
Necessary. It's
And then, I've been doing a lot of research this summer, doing a lot of webinars and everything, and I found out a few things that might be useful to our commission. Kind of like what Madam Chair said, where you have that 14-day petition period for the public to petition an application for a public hearing. You can also, you can discuss the application with the applicant when the day it's being received.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can decide if you believe it should be a public hearing or not. And then if a public hearing is decided, when the public hearing opens, you just restart and you talk about it all over again for the record. But I thought that was interesting because we haven't sometimes done that. And sometimes it's been a little bit questionable if we should have a public hearing or not. So I think learning that has brought some good ideas for our commission to help you determine.
Yeah.
Wetlands used to do that
Yeah.
and then vote on it the following meeting, and then somehow it fell through the cracks.
We have done that for some,
Some,
Yeah,
like when they came way before, when the sports complex, they
Yeah.
came
Way
a
before.
year before.
Yeah, we
I
wait for
just
it to come
wanted
back.
to know that
Yeah.
it's okay
Yeah.
to discuss.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, we
talk
always do
about
that,
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't always have to wait for the public hearing, so I just thought it'd be comforting to know. That's all.
Yeah, excellent.
So, yeah, so I think it'd be good if we could, if something gets auto
Yeah,
received,
yeah, we can definitely do that.
post it
You know,
somewhere.
maybe-
because they
That gave me an
wouldn't see it.
idea, maybe we can make like an auto
Oh,
approval
yeah.
tab on the commission webpage.
Yeah.
And we can put like any auto approved applications on that tab for the public,
well, that's
Yeah,
a
It's a
very
good,
good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
which we do have a new website design, so I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Oh, you're gonna put that on our tablets that we're getting?
I'm advocating for
Remember?
that.
We should have a-
Free time.
Along with the key fob.
That's more useful than the other.
I saw an agent approval in the Enfield patch online.
Yes, that's from a building permit I approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
So at least
I thought
somebody
that was
did it.
interesting.
Somebody did it.
Yeah.
Well, what we didn't do, we we didn't go over the bylaws.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you moved both items or if you left
We did.
15B down there.
Technically.
Technically, we moved it, but, yeah, so does everybody have copies, or did everybody look at them? The bylaws?
I don't think it was in.
I know, wasn't it?
No, she can give us a copy of
It
it.
would be in your commission binders.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have it.
Which is at home.
Yeah.
So do we want to do it for next week?
Yeah.
I'm not next week, but
You can do next meeting.
next meeting.
And
So I
gives
will
you
make a
time.
motion, we table review of bylaws until the next meeting.
Second,
Sounds good. Who seconded
everybody.
it? Dylan. All in favor? All unanimous approves. So review of the bylaws will be next meeting, which is the 17th, I would say.
I have one question for Georgie. What's the status? We were gonna be.
Yes.
We were gonna be doing a change. I don't think it was bylaws.
Those
Regs,
are
you're gonna start looking at regs, so
our regulations, yes.
are you gonna transfer that?
Agent approval.
See, that's why she said.
Well, I also withdrew it because when I was doing my memo and I was looking at all other towns, it became so overwhelming. I was like, I just need to start from scratch because other towns, their agent section is so different and less complicated than our section. And I felt like when I was done taking notes, my section 12 was just completely immensible with pen scraps. So I'm like, I need to withdraw and just start from scratch. So we might want to start looking at the deep model regs just to like help us simplify a few
It
things.
really makes the most sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because like what doesn't make sense to me is we limit the size of accessory structures the agent can approve for the building permit. So if I have somebody doing a 900 or an 801 square foot shed or something that is more than 50 feet from a wetland, because it's over that 800 limit, they have to come before you and I can't approve it.
Right.
We follow the state regs, and that's what they do, the bylaws for the state.
Right. So
It's exactly like ours is.
Right, so they didn't actually have specifics in their agent approval section. It's kind of like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
And then we added all this extra stuff,
Yeah,
kind of like more toppings to pizza. So we'll have to take a closer look at that, just because I think the more we add, the more restrictions we're putting on the residents and the more money we end up ultimately costing them to either get a permit versus a simple building permit.
And the other thing, while you're looking at stuff, agent approval, in our regulations, it says that the applicant puts it in the paper, but they don't, the town does. So if we all decide that we don't want them to spend any money, and we want it all done in-house, the town is gonna eat that cost, which is over $100.
I don't think we would change that part because That goes by the appeal period, which contributes to statute. So the only thing that really matters for that part is if I issue, or Stephen or Rick, whoever, if we issue a agent approval to the building permit, the applicants have the option to publish our decision in the paper. And if they don't publish it, then that appeal period is technically forever open.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so if somebody has agreed a year later, because that appeal period was never started by the applicant, they could come in before you
Yeah.
and appeal my building permit decision, even if the project's already done.
Yeah, yeah.
So every time I do that, I have this standard template that I just copy and paste and I change all the stuff. So I give them their sentence for publication. And I always tell them that we recommend that you publish it just in case, like say grandma's
The
mad.
town does it. You do it.
No, we don't do it. The applicant does it.
Hmm.
It's their option because we already publish everything else. So just to save us some money, we don't publish those.
You check, does somebody in the office check to see if it's done?
And we would only check, because the applicant should always have a copy of it.
Yeah.
In which case, if they do publish it, they'll email me a copy. But in most cases, we're not just gonna go checking for agent approvals just because we issue so many. So it's an easy Google.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So just some things to investigate, and I feel like the more and more I got deeper into the reg amendment, the more and more I found that was so convoluted. So now that we have another person, master degree in planning.
For our regs, we just pick, one every
Yeah.
meeting or something, just to eventually get them done, because we
Yeah.
keep pushing it on.
Yeah.
So we can promise it is coming in a more streamlined way.
Sounds good. Okay, anything else? Discussion? No?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jenny, all in favor? Time is 7:36.